Charleston City Council members Keith Waring and Bill Moody say the city needs to come up with a better plan to revitalize West Ashley. In this edition of Quintin's Ghost Hops, I sit down with Councilman Bill Moody.
Bill,
hey,
it's so good to see you.
Nice to see you, Quintin.
I really appreciate this.
Glad to do it.
Yes, sir. I thank you for that. I want to take it back because obviously you and Keith Waring wrote an editorial that is for the Postal Courier on July 5th. And it says this: city needs right plan to revitalize West Ashley. I like what you said here. Regrettably, we don't have good answers. We don't have details. We don't have the backgrounds of proposed task force members. We can't measure their commitments to West Ashley's future. So let me ask you this, Bill. Where will the answers, the details, and the backgrounds come from?
Well, you know, we got to have a vision. We need a plan. We need to spend some time. The comment also went on talking about ready, fire, aim.
Right.
And that's used a lot. But in this case, it's pretty appropriate because we've got a lot of work to do before we actually start, you know, moving shovels of dirt and stuff like that. And that's the planning. And so if you're going to plan it, you have to have people that have some vision or whatever. And I'm not in any way trying to detract from those people.
Right.
But because they're all good people, and we're going to need every single one of them. But I mean, I don't know that that I should be. I don't know that I've got the vision. But there are people out there that can help us plan, so we can aim before we fire.
Sure.
And we got it backwards.
Wow.
And so that was our concern. That, you know, West Ashley, it's time for us to move. It's time for us to start working on this, but I don't want to start working in a bad way that will delay and cause maybe people to get discouraged. I want it done right, and I want it done at a level of excellence. And we didn't start off on the right foot, and that was really our concern. Is, hey, folks, you know, the thing came up before City Council. It got thrown into our laps, and as all politicians, we started messing with it, you know. And so I think we just had too many cooks in the kitchen. We didn't know whether we were baking cake or cookies. Everybody just started throwing ingredients at it, and I think that's exactly where we were headed. And Keith and I said, whoa, let's back up and start again. That's in no way. Look, we both apologize. We were part of that kitchen fiasco, if you will. We participated in that, but after the meeting, we said, wow, we really didn't do the citizens of West Ashley the justice and what they deserve. So that's why we backed them and wrote the op-ed, and we're hoping that people will see that. I mean, I'm not trying to grab, and I know Keith is not trying to grab headlines here. We just want West Ashley developed at a level of excellence, and that was not the best way to start.
And also you said this interestingly too. You said, quote, it's not just about the task force membership. It's about Mayor John Tecklenburg and City Council's commitment to truly revitalize West Ashley. So why Mayor Tecklenburg and City Council? Why now?
Well, West Ashley in the 50s and 60s was the place to be in the Charleston region. I mean, people were moving from downtown there, moving from North Charleston. Right. You know, the malls came, we were building all these new houses, blah, blah, blah. Everything was just exploding over here. And we kind of got happy and were content, and things kind of passed us by. There was nothing, nobody, you know, Joe Riley didn't say, well, I'm going to mess with West Ashley and do this, or Keith something. But, you know, Mount Pleasant caught on fire. They started building town center. They started building their roads. They started doing all that. North Charleston said, man, we got to do something, you know. So they started doing things like Tanger Outlet and the Riverfront Park, and Daniel Island came along, and West Ashley just kind of sat over here, and we were just happy. So all of a sudden, everybody said, you know, we could, you know, we've got this shag carpet. Maybe we need to pull this shag carpet out and put some nice carpet, or maybe we need to get rid of this paneling and do some paint or something. You know, we just need to fix this place up. It's a great place to live. We got great neighborhoods. We're working on getting our schools. We got some transportation problems, as everybody does. But we got some great communities over here. And so why don't we figure out what it is that we need to really make us, Charleston's the best place in the world to visit. Why can't we be the best place in the world to live? And that's my vision. Is what makes all that. We need young people. Young people are starting to move in. We've got average house over here is probably a couple 100,000, give or take a few thousand. Mount Pleasant is twice that.
Right.
And so young people can move in here. They can have a home. They can have the American dream, and that's what's happening. So the older people are selling, and dying, and all that kind of stuff. We're in transition over here. So let's provide jobs over here. Maybe those people don't need to go downtown. Maybe they don't need to go to Boeing. If we have the right jobs here, they can stay here. That would help us solve some of our traffic problems if they didn't have to get up and go somewhere every morning.
You talk about traffic and transportation problems. You don't see it really as a problem right now, but you really see it as a long-term solution, and that is West Ashley Circle.
Well, West Ashley Circle is just one of those areas. I mean, we road to nowhere, you can say all that, but Long Savannah's got 3,000 acres out there, probably 6,000 or so homes. That's going to be coming on the next 10 years or so. That traffic circle is planned. We built 1/4 of it, the satellite parts.
Right.
What you're trying to do is keep all that traffic that's going to be out there from going through one point. And that's what the traffic circle does with those quadrants. So as they develop those, we'll build those. We're building the one now to keep some of that traffic that needs to go to, say, 61 from Glen McConnell. That it doesn't have to go through that point. It can go over here because you just can't keep building wider streets. So you're trying to disperse some of that traffic. And so, yeah, it might be a road to nowhere today, but I guarantee you, you won't hear a lot of people say, boy, I wonder who thought about that traffic circle 10, 15 years ago. What a great idea. That's what I think will happen. So, we'll see.
And you talked about Mayor Joe Raleigh in the last answer that you gave me. I hate to ask this, but what letter grade would you give him as far as trying to revitalize West Ashley?
Well, look, Joe Raleigh was a great mayor. And this is, it's almost like this revitalization just started with Mayor Tecklenburg. Right. And I will tell you that's not true. Revitalization has been going on, and Mr. Waring, Aubrey Alexander, Marvin Wagner, Kathleen Wilson, myself, we've been working on this for, probably 3 years. We've met with some developers. We saw the Citadel Mall. We wanted to be sure that didn't become some kind of an antique mall or something. Right. We wanted to redevelop that. We went to the mayor and asked him to have planning kind of give us some ideas, which they did. We asked, we got to have funding. Well, we've got the TIF. Will probably be in place this year. I mean, that didn't just start in January. Right. That TIF has been going on now for a couple, 3 years. But hopefully this year we'll have the funding in place so as we start the redevelopment. So again, we're getting these things in place that we need. We started having a conversation and we said, look, in addition to those big things like the TIF, and we said, we need somebody focused on West Ashley. Mayor Riley, in our budget 2015, provided, so that was really in 14 when the budget was done in 2015. Right. 2015, we had budgeted an individual that's 100% of her time. It's Mandy Herring, and 100% of her time is spent on West Ashley area. So that was funded back in 2015. So we've been incrementally moving this thing forward, and we need to get everybody involved and start talking about this and get the best ideas. And that's really, we were new at it. Mayor Tecklenburg was new at it. We just look, I'll take my credit. I screwed it up, and you want to blame it all on me? I'll take it. We made a bad first step, and quite frankly, the mayor was going to appoint the people to do this, and I quite frankly, I think he would have done a better job than we did. And we jumped in and started, no, we want to put people on this, blah, blah, blah. And that's what got it off track.
Okay.
So Keith and I said, let's get it back on track. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Let's don't ready, fire, aim. Let's be sure we got the target that we want. And these people that were put on there, it's not, there's been some talk about qualifications. They may be qualified. I just don't know what their qualifications are. If you're going to ask me to do some kind of engineering project, you put me on, say, well, Bill Moody's been involved, but if I don't know anything about engineering, I may not be the person for that job. If you wanted some accounting, maybe I would be that person. So, we didn't even ask. Okay, we didn't even ask or present the qualifications of the people we were putting forward. Wow. So that's how we screwed it up. Okay. And so that's what we were saying. We didn't ask for their qualifications because we didn't know what the qualifications needed to be. Wow. We didn't ask that. We didn't ask that question first.
Okay. Another our controversy here in West Ashley obviously was the recent bike lane test on the LeGree Bridge.
Right.
When you think of that, what goes to your mind, Bill?
Well, I think it's a misguided effort. If you took a vote on city council and said, how many people are in favor of having a bike lane to get you from West Ashley downtown, you get 13 votes. Then you ask them, and you would probably ask the people in North Charleston, how many people are in favor of a nice riverfront park or a terminal? And we want to close down your streets so the trucks can get down there. They'll be in favor of that, but not closing the streets. And that's the real misguided part of this, is that the highway department said, yeah, you might be able to close a lane. Yeah, but probably by 2020, we're going to have to take it back. So you're going to spend $2 to $3, $4 million on a project that's going to be gone in 3 years. I've got 5 different ways, and they're all expensive, but I got 5 different ways that you could fix or get a bridge lane without closing that one. And the number one and most expensive is to replace the 2 with maybe one bridge with bicycle and pedestrian paths on both sides of it. So the people from 61, the people from Folly Road can get downtown, and the people in the middle. But, those bridges were built, the LeGree Bridge, I think, was built in 52, 54. It's old. And they've done studies. The bridges, most of the time when they open them, they don't first time close right back, and then they have to backs up traffic for a couple hours so they can get somebody in there to get the bridges closed back. There's no commercial business, there's no commercial activity, water activity on the other side of those 2 bridges. It's all pleasure boats, it's sailboats. If you go spend that many millions of dollars, why don't you buy a few telescoping masts on some sailboats so they can go under that bridge without even opening the bridge? Then you wouldn't. We're going to have to replace those bridges sooner than later. I just find, and the other negative part about it is that the trailhead for bikes is going to be right in front of 35 Folly, that new construction. And I challenge anybody to tell me, nobody's talking about this, but how do you get to that point so you can ride the bridge? For those people that live in Burnsdown, it kind of feeds right there.
Yes.
Folly Road, 6117, you cannot get to that point without going down Wesley Drive, across Windermere Boulevard, across 6 lanes of traffic, and down Albemarle and get there, or go to the Herbert Fielding Connector and go around by the Piggly Wiggly, the Krogan Spur, and then come back that way. In my opinion, you got bicyclists that won't even go a block to go the right way on a one-way street. How are you going to get them over there? And I get it. I understand there's people that would like to ride their bikes downtown to work at Medical University and stuff like that. They live in Burnsdown or Windermere, stuff like that. It's very close. They can get in that. In the morning, on the worst traffic day of the year, those people can get the traffic right there at the bridge and go across. So it doesn't hold them up. Even on the worst traffic day, it doesn't make any difference in their lives. So when you go back down to Betsy Road or Farm Field or Savage Road or Mutual Drive, those people that are trying to get down, that are going down 17, going down 61, coming in from Johns and James Island, to close that lane just doesn't make any sense.
Let's stay with West Ashley once again. Your son, Bradley Moody.
Yep.
He won the Republican, how can I say this for lack of a better word, nomination for District 7.
Right.
When you look back at that time to right now, what is the biggest thing that sticks out in your mind?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of Bradley, number one, for stepping up. I think anybody that runs for political office needs to be gradually, because it does take something to step out and say, you know, I want you to vote for me, and then the people say, no, I don't like you. So, first of all, stepping up and being brave enough to do that. Number two, to offering his services, and he worked very hard. I watched him. I worked with him on some of our districts, some of my city district and his county district overlap. So we rode our bikes and knocked on doors together. I was trying to help him in that way. We probably spent 6 or 8 nights doing that, evenings. So he worked, and then that's just a little bit of it.
Right.
He worked the rest of the district on his own or with other people. So he worked very hard. So I was really proud of him for stepping up, number one. I was proud of the race he ran, and we'll look forward to September. We'll get out there and work on the general election. So
Someone who was committed to public service was Brian Moody.
yeah.
I know that it's still sharper to you that he's gone.
Yeah.
When you how could you describe Brian Moody to those who didn't know him?
Well, he was a Moody. What can I say? Brian was, you know, as a very young boy, he was not someone. You didn't tell Brian to do something. You said, Brian, we can do it this way or this way. You let him choose. And so, even as a very young boy, as a child or almost a baby, that was the way he did it. And he was, he had a very good work ethic. He had a very strong faith. And when his boys entered public school, he knew that he wanted them in public school. I mean, he didn't want them to go to a private school or something like that. He thought that all 3 of my kids were raised in public school, and I think they all 3 got great educations, and that's what he wanted, the very best for his kids. And so you know, when you really want the very best, you just don't sit back and watch it happen. If you want the very best, you kind of got to make it happen. You got to work hard. And so that's what he did. I was very proud of Brian for his service. He was always the voice of reason on the school board. They said he was the swing vote a lot of times when they were divided on some issue. The one thing that Brian taught me about politics, and I remember it very well, I asked him, I said, Brian, how do you put up with all these people fussing about schools and all that stuff? How do you serve like that? And he said, Dad, it's simple. He said, as long as you always look and keep in mind it's all about the kids, all the kids. You want the kids to have a good age. As long as you keep the kids in the forefront, the decisions are easy. And I didn't really realize exactly how profound that was until I got in public office. And if you really, you know, there's a lot of country, whether it's Bridge Lane or research and development, Sergeant Johnston, you know, I mean, there's always plenty of issues. But when you look at what's best for the city, not my district, not my particular citizen, but what's best for the whole city, and just kind of keep that in mind, most of the decisions are fairly easy. And so, and I've shared that with Brantley, and I think he'll do the same way. So, you know, we are a family. I can tell you my philosophy was I wanted to make where I live the very best because I wanted my kids to be close to me. We're a very strong family. I wanted my kids to be close to me. I wanted my grandkids close to me. So my wife and I have 3 kids. We have 3 son and daughters-in-law. We have 7 grandchildren. And they all, for just about all of their life, have lived right here in West Ashley. We see them on Sunday mornings. We keep the grandkids. I mean, they're all right here. And that only happens when you build a community where they can have fun, they can have friends, they can worship, they can go to school, they can have good jobs.
Sure.
And so that's been kind of our thoughts, if you will. I think as a family, we don't really express them like that. But that's kind of the way it works. If you make the community the very best where you wanted your kids to go to school and come back and live, and then they'll go back and their grandkids will come back. So, you know, we got 2 grandsons now. They're in Charlotte. We'll see. I mean, Brantley, Brian, and Allison, all 3 of my kids went to San Antonio Baltimore, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, and they all made a decision. I want to move back to Charleston. That's where I want to raise my family. And so they did that. So I wish that for everybody. I mean, I've been so blessed. My wife and I have been so blessed with that, with having that family right here. So that's why I love this place. It's home.
And re-election. How's it feel to be back on city council?
Well, some days it's better than others. You know, you got to be careful what you ask for. Brantley was crowing that he got 62% of the votes. Wait a minute, your dad got 77%. So I couldn't let him get too far. I had to kind of rein him in a little bit. You know, you got to kind of keep him on. Anyway, so yeah, it's fun. I hope I'm representing the citizens of District 11 and the citizens of Charleston. I really do love this place, and I try to do my best. And at some point, it'll be time for somebody else. And you know, this seat belongs to the citizens that I represent. They can throw me out anytime they're ready. You know, so that's kind of my philosophy. I'm very fortunate.
That is awesome. Well, Bill Moody, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Good. Thanks, Quintin.
Thank
Glad
you.
you did.